welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host as we go... he's a dickhead, and he's going to tell us all what this show is all about, and he's going to do it for the 199th time, maybe, but he's probably missed a few, so maybe not actually. So
yeah, we don't actually know where
Lauren,
we stand on
shut
this.
up and tell us all what the show's about.
Nathan, this is the show where we get together each week to discuss something in the realm of pop culture. Could it be a movie? Could it be a TV show? Could it be a video game? The answer is yes, but the main thing is that we do so without any of the toxic discourse that is oh so prevalent in these days.
It could not be a TV show, because we just did 4 seasons of a TV show. It could not be a video game, because we haven't done one all year, I don't think. And I don't think... Well, no, it is a movie.
No, it is. Yeah, it is a movie. We can lock that one.
It's definitively a movie.
But it could be.
Movies are back. Movies are back, Lauren.
Oh my god, we haven't done one since Scream 4.
Whoa, movies are back. This is... And you know who we have to thank for it? Those Bring the Boom boys. You know they're bringing movies back?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen their campaign to get butts in seats, yeah.
It's not a campaign. It's just an ad for, like, popcorn or whatever. But,
yeah, they got paid.
Yeah. Hey, good on them. Or maybe not, because maybe they're evil or whatever. But anyway.
I don't know what's going on with that story, but something insidious is happening.
I don't know anything. Anyway, what's going on?
It's Godzilla time, Nathan.
It's late is what it is, Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, it is late as well.
It's a little late. Sorry about that. It's currently 9 minutes past 4 on the day this episode is due to come out. So you know when we say Fridays at 10? It's currently Friday at 4. So a little bit beyond that. That's my bad. Sorry about that, everyone. But look, we're here now, and that's the main thing, all right?
Yeah, look, and technically, if you're going to... Look, this is coming out later this evening, so if you're going to chastise us about being late, we never missed the day. That doesn't... So you can't hold us to that.
Well, big talk. No, you got to get this edited speedily, because if anything comes up now, fucking hell, you're in the shitter, all right? You are in the dog house if anything else comes up. No.
But here's the beauty of making a bold claim like that. Yeah. I can just remove it. I can just take it out.
That's true. That is true. But I'll know.
Yeah, but that's fine. We
and
hold
I'll
all the
tell
cards.
Everyone.
No, don't share it.
I will. I'll share it.
Nathan, how long have we been... This has been on the schedule for a long old time. Godzilla
probably about a year, really.
Yeah.
Probably.
Did this get pushed back?
Yeah, it's been pushed back a couple of times, probably because, like, X-Mania happened, and then we're like, oh, fuck, it doesn't quite work there. So... Yeah, it's definitely been pushed back and moved around a few times. But yeah, it has been on the old on the watch list, the schedule for about a year now. Because I remember us talking about it in our 2023 end of year special.
Yeah,
one of the few things I do remember from that. And yeah, so we made it. We finally made it.
I can't believe we're here. The time has finally arrived.
And we both waited to watch this for the first time for this podcast.
That's not true.
Someone's been bad.
Dude, it wasn't bad. I just wanted to watch it, and I knew it'd be a full year.
Not me.
And I'm glad I've seen it twice, to be fair. Something I remember you talking about, because I remember a lot more than you do about the end of year special of last year.
That does make sense, yeah.
Yeah. But you kept bringing us back to I think it was your favourite franchise, your favourite TV show, I want to say, maybe. You're like number one MonsterVerse Godzilla fan.
I love MonsterVerse. Yeah. I love Godzilla. I like Kong less. I don't like Kong as much. Kong's a little bitch to me, all right?
Okay.
But I love Godzilla. He's a beautiful boy, and I want to give him a kiss.
But you're like a fan of all that stuff. That kind of... I don't know, what's that side of Godzilla? Because it's not this. It's not this side of Godzilla.
Well, no, it's the I don't know, the Western adaptation, I guess. The American version.
Yeah. So were you like keen for this? I know you held off because of this episode, but like, would you have watched this sooner? Where are you at with... Where were you... What was your preconceived notion of Godzilla -1?
I don't know if I really had a preconceived notion of it. To me, it was just a Godzilla movie. This is the first Japanese Godzilla movie I've seen. The first non-American Godzilla movie I've seen. And up to this point, the only non-American Godzilla movie I've seen. So it's a little different from what I'm used to. But yeah, in terms of like what I was expecting going in, not too like I didn't have any strong feelings either way going into it, to be honest. I was just like, Godzilla.
I mean, he shows up. What can you say?
He does show up sometimes. Anyway.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's certainly different.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a different kind of take. Probably more in line with what Godzilla was like. What Godzilla represents in Japanese culture. It's probably this version rather than the MonsterVerse version. But that's something I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit because once upon a time. You said something that actually struck a chord with me on this very show.
Here we go.
No, this is a good thing. This is one of them quotes that I've genuinely tried to apply to like some of my bias and stuff like that. Right? Once upon a time, you said that when I think we were talking about Mandalorian 3, and you said that Andor is great Star Wars, but it shouldn't be everything that Star Wars is.
That is true. I did say that.
Yeah, and I took that quote in and I sat with it and I held space for it, as one might say.
By the way, I'm annoyed because I should be drinking a Bailey's right now. All right.
Okay.
Because I got a shopping delivered by Morrison's today. All right. And they brought the Baileys. All right. But it also brought those fucking security tags on it, meaning I couldn't open the fucking bottle.
Oh,
and I just like looked at the delivery driver and was like, what am I supposed to fucking do with this? He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I don't know, mate. I'm like, I'll take it back then.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't just have this and just not be able to fucking open it, can I?
What you want to do? You want to put the plug hole in your sink, smash the glass bottle in the sink, and then put a straw in the sink.
I don't want to do that. No.
Then you've got Bailey's for a couple of days.
No. Anyway.
I'm not saying it'd be nice, but it'd be there.
No.
But no, yeah. Once upon a time, you said that, and that I wanted to speak a little bit about the kind of malleability of Godzilla and how like you can put him in different spaces like this and it works. Like you can have him in MonsterVerse and it's fun and it's a bit silly, and then you can also have him as like this embodiment of a nuclear weapon and this kind of figure of absolute horror and terror in something like this. And I think those two ideas are interesting and absolutely for different audiences. But yeah, I don't know. Did you like this? I had a great time with this.
It's not my preferred version of Godzilla. Okay. I like it because Godzilla in this is a straight up villain. All right. Yeah. Straight up evil boy. He wants to kill everyone. Fuck you. Look at me. I've got big atomic breath. All right. Yeah. That's his whole deal basically. And I like it, which I suppose is probably like what the original concept of Godzilla was. So fair. But I like it when Godzilla is like a big mean boy, but then he'll be big and mean to other monsters. And then like there'll be another monster terrorizing the city. And then the camera pans and everyone stops. There's like a big thunder and footstep appears and they look over and like, oh, it's Godzilla. And then Godzilla comes in and gives the big roar and then they fight. That's what I love. And they kill millions in the process while they fight as well. That's what I enjoy. So.
But it didn't happen if you never mention it in the movie. That's rule 101. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, if no one's like, oh my god, Godzilla murdered fucking thousands of people. Everyone's just like, Godzilla's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice
boy. At the end of those movies. Yeah,
he's nice.
Isn't that crazy?
He's the real hero of the piece. And he is.
Yeah, but that very sentence, isn't that nuts? That like Godzilla is like, he's 180'd so hard that the American adaptation is just like, Godzilla is the hero of Japan.
I think there's also like something to be said there in like the fucking the Japanese perspective on Godzilla is that he's a big horrifying monster who came to destroy their lands, and the American idea of Godzilla is he's a hero because we actually we proudly destroyed, we dropped that bomb. So I mean I don't know if there's anything there, but it's just interesting to think about.
I think there's something there, but if we unpack it, then oh my god, we'll be here for years.
yeah. But look, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying I enjoy when big monster punches other monster. Yeah,
they're entertaining movie. You can't deny. I haven't seen the newest one, but we watched a lot of them. We did an episode a while back on I think 4 of them at that point, up until Godzilla versus Kong, and I have a great time with a lot of them. I think some of them are better than others, but
they're all peak cinema for real. Right?
Okay, I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, they're all great TV show as well. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters.
What did you put that as your favorite TV show of last year?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, it was a TV show you loved last year.
It was a good TV show. Kurt Russell,
Yeah.
Wyatt Russell, teaming up together at last to play the same character.
Yeah. And Kurt Russell still got it in his 90s somehow.
Yeah.
He's still pulling that suave moves. So, yeah, this is not your preferred Godzilla, but, like, what did you get out of this? Were you, like... Were like, separating it from your idea of, like, your preferred Godzilla? Like, where are you at with this? Good movie? Bad time? Good time?
Not a lot of Godzilla, is there? Like, in a
Maybe
movie
less than I'd
called
want, yeah.
in a movie called Godzilla, minus one Godzilla. Am I right? Because he's not here. Where is he? He does show up briefly at the beginning, and then like 4 hours pass by, and he's not there. That's not Crow. I'm being facetious. No, I really like this movie. I liked it quite a lot. I didn't think I would necessarily, and I was part way through it, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this is necessarily for me, really, but it kind of just got me. Like, things happened, and I was like, oh fuck, this is quite. By the end of it, I was like, fuck, this is actually quite beautiful. Really, it was really.
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
It does sneak up on you. It is a really beautiful movie. A big focus on the human characters, which is always a no-go for the Godzilla movies for me. I'm like, because who gives a fuck? You know, I don't care about these humans. Like,
yes,
I just want to see big monsters. But like, and that was like why I was struggling with it part way through, because I was like, all right, we saw Godzilla for like 5 seconds at the beginning, and he was weirdly small as well. He seemed like very small in the beginning.
They explain that later on.
Yeah, he gets bigger, but he did seem very small at the beginning. So I was like, I don't know if this is for me, and everything like that. So I'm watching it, and I think it might not have been up until the Godzilla attack on the city itself, on Ginza or something like that, where I actually started to shift gears a bit and started to enjoy it more. And yeah, it's just, it really does sneak up on you in terms of like what is not what the focus of this movie is, but just kind of like the heart of it and the emotion and that kind of stuff. And like I say, by the end of it, I'm like, wow, this is a really beautiful movie. I shed a few tears watching it. You know, it's definitely gets you. So yeah.
I think so. I think I when I first watched this, I had the same experience. I was a little bit like, I can really respect this, but I did think there were elements of it where I was like, this is way not what I was expecting. Like, this is, there's too many humans. There's too many humans in this Godzilla movie. Yeah. And I think on a second watch, and like even towards the end of the first watch, I did kind of go like, no, it's actually something a bit different. Like, you said it yourself, the strong the characters in the Godzilla Monsterverse movies, they're like, I couldn't name a single one of them, if I'm honest.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
Kyle
what's
Chandler.
her character's name?
I don't fucking know. Kyle Chandler. The boy from Hunt for the Wilder People.
Julian Dennison.
Julian Dennison.
Right, but you're not proving my point by naming their actors, by
Paddington's mum. All right?
You're not even naming the actors.
She gets eaten. All right. Who else is in those movies?
Brian Cranston.
No, not Brian Cranston. Oh yeah, he is. Sorry. Yeah. Brian Cranston is. I forgot you started it off. Do you remember when they advertised that movie as Brian Cranston versus Godzilla, and that just wasn't what it was?
Straight after the finale of Breaking Bad, he's like, my next new movie is incredible. I'm definitely in it for more than 5 minutes.
Oh, the Maximoff twins, but they have sex.
Yes, they're married in that
uncomfortable.
one.
Same here as Age of Ultron, so very uncomfortable for everyone to watch. Who else was in those
Tom
movies?
Hiddleston, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly.
Yeah, in the bad one.
You are nuts.
No, I'm joking. Fuck, who else?
It does feel very different, doesn't it, to the other ones?
Brian Tyler Henry. Tyree Henley.
You nailed it first time. I don't know why you're trying.
Okay, well, I thought I didn't. So there we go. Brian. Anyway, he's good.
But yeah, the two Bryans.
The two Bryans. They're together at last. Yeah.
Together they'll team up. Is he the podcast host, Brian Tyree Henry?
Yeah. He's got a podcast. Yeah.
He's like, Godzilla's here.
Finally.
And then Julian Dennison spills his coffee on Mecha Godzilla or something, and it breaks him.
Some representation at last. Podcasters.
Yeah, where is our space in the mythos of Godzilla?
He was there. Brian Tyree Henley, whatever his fucking name is, was fighting for us. He was He was given us the representation we so rightfully deserve as podcasters.
We're 1-to-1 with in Japanese culture. Podcasting and Godzilla, right up there.
Both destroyed Japanese culture.
All right, so yeah, I kind of was on the same vein as you at first, but on a rewatch, I think this is great. I think the way they use like the way Godzilla is obviously more in line with what Godzilla was designed to represent way back when it was first introduced, but also the way he kind of works as this like it's almost like fate haunting a man. Just like how many times can you outrun me, you little bitch?
What do you think of the look of Godzilla?
I love Godzilla look in this.
Really?
Yeah. Do you not? Are you not a fan?
No, I don't know. I don't think I'm sold on it, really. All
right.
I know it's like, I think it's supposed to look like it's supposed to go for that classic man in a suit sort of design. It's supposed to have that sort of look and feel to it. But I don't know. I don't know if it necessarily works to me, because there's times where he's just like stood walking about and it just like I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's any actual weight or dynamic to it, really.
See, I disagree, but for the reasons you're saying. Like, I'm with you in exactly what kind of you're picking up as well. Like, the VFX artists, it was a massive thing. They won an Oscar for this, by the way, the VFX team. Yeah. And it was a massive win because it's like the smallest VFX team ever assembled for a movie this big.
Yeah, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. I think there's a few issues with that, really.
I would say normally yes, but pretty much everyone involved in this has come out and been like, we were working like side by side. There's a video of the director on a wheelie chair going from table to table, and like it felt more like the close knit relationship of a game studio as opposed to a big movie studio where there's like 7 chains of commands that break down. So like from everything I hear, look, the VFX artist industry is like it's not great historically. No. But from a lot of consensus, it seems like people here were fairly treated. So I can only kind of say what they say. But no, there's absolutely this focus on like they deliberately animated Godzilla in a way that made him feel stop motiony, even though he's obviously not. And like you say, they tried to emulate that stiltedness of a man in a suit, and I think
stilted is a good way to describe it, because it did feel very stilted for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they do some good work, like hiding him a lot of the time. He's like submerged half in an ocean, and like they cut some corners where they need to. But ultimately, I think that he looks menacing. Like the fact that his face. They obviously save some money by not animating his face all that much, because he's often kind of an expressionless, like just the sheer look of like apathy as he walks through these buildings, destroying them, and he's just kind of like, this is a day in the fucking park for me. Like doesn't matter to him at all. There's no. I don't know. I don't quite know the way to describe it. For me, it felt very tangible and weighty and evil. The fact that you couldn't really garner much emotion from him made him more scary to me.
And I guess that's kind of the intention, especially given the inspiration and the story behind it and everything like that. But I don't know. I kind of do want a bit of that emotion and a bit of that sort of personality from my monsters, you know? That's just my taste, really. But yeah.
No, and that's fair. And I think for like in the MonsterVerse movies, you need that because you're following Godzilla more than anyone.
Yeah.
So you do need a protagonist to kind of crazy protagonist Godzilla, but you do need to be let in like that. Whereas for me, I think I don't want to empathize with this Godzilla at all. Like if I'm shown the slightest glimmer of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have destroyed those people, I'm like, then you immediately lose your level of threat that I hold.
Well, Godzilla's never like, I shouldn't have destroyed. Godzilla doesn't care. Godzilla's not necessarily like, you know, throwing down in San Francisco with a big monster and then like, oh no, but these humans, I must, you know, oh no.
What have I done?
Look at the destruction. I don't give a fuck, man. He's just got to kill his monster, you know?
They go full circle to that. They give him the Oppenheimer shot of what have I started here?
I am become death, Godzilla says, as he looks upon the city.
I saw a funny tweet this week. It was, you know that picture that you're enjoying of Godzilla doing the L dance in Fortnite?
Yeah, it's great.
And it was the, you know, the dominoes falling meme.
Yeah.
And it started with J. Robert Oppenheimer inventing the nuclear bomb or something.
Yeah.
And then that picture in Fortnite, which is a bit of fun. But so right, so you're not really
No, I don't
Can
think
you appreciate
I'm
what they
sold.
were going for, or
I
is it
can
just not for you?
Well, I can see what they were going for. Okay. And I guess I can appreciate it in the sense that if that's your taste, then sure, I guess that works.
Yeah.
But it's not my taste personally. So,
That's fair.
So yeah.
What about the other design elements, like the light up scales sticking out the back, the breath, all of that stuff?
The atomic breath and the light up scales and stuff, those were very cool. I like the way that those kind of almost mechanically like sort of locked in and stuff as he got ready to fire. That was very cool. And the atomic breath itself was also very, I don't know, it had a real punch to it. It had a real sort of visceralness. Like they really captured the kind of horror of the nuclear bomb. As if anyone should capture it, I guess it'd be fucking these guys. But yeah, they did a really good job of that, I think.
Yeah, it's less a big laser that does minor explosions. It's more like it's such a long build. This is something I thought yesterday. It's such a long build up because you watch those scales go ba-dum, 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 and then you feel the charging up, and then when it fires, it's so instant, and then suddenly it is a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, he blew the fucking roof off a couple of buildings. Like, no, he's atomized an entire area of this city.
Yeah. Which is what it should be, really. It's exactly the kind of destructive force that Godzilla should be, really.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, man, I think he's cool. I think he looks really good. I like the glow.
I was under the impression that, like, the Godzilla roar, quote unquote, Godzilla roar, was the same roar for all the Godzillas, but clearly it's not, because
you'll have to clue me in on this, because I don't know. I know there's a thing about the roar, but I don't know what it is.
Because, like, the roar, and this won't play, so you'll have to put this in. All right, so that was classic. So that's Godzilla's classic roar. We didn't stop for half an hour to try and figure out audio problems at all. We're still recording.
I can't even remember why we were talking about Godzilla.
It was something to do with his roar. Basically, his roar in this movie is different to how I usually know it. And I don't...
Okay.
Because I was always under the impression, and this came up recently because of Godzilla and Fortnite, Robert J. Oppenheimer's doing. I saw like some tweets saying, oh, they couldn't even license his roar or something. But then, like, it's a different roar in this also, so I don't know what's going on, you know?
Hello everyone, it's Editing Lawrence here. Sorry to report that going forth throughout the rest of this episode of the podcast, my mic is going to be slightly lesser in quality. We had an audio mess up. Anyway, going forward, unfortunately my mic is just going to be lower in quality because there was like a double up situation on the recording and it meant I can't use my original audio. We have to go off of what was going on the backup recorder. Anyway, you don't care about any of that. You want to hear us talk more about Godzilla, and that's fine, but it's just slightly lesser in quality. But the content... That's an entirely different matter. You should go and just listen to all of the rest of this episode because, oh my God, the discussions we have. What an incredible ride it is and what a great time.
Well, this has Toho's backing. So, like,
is this Toho?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Toho, I believe so.
Okay.
So let me get this straight. This is not the same roar.
No, it's a different roar. It's not,
and there's a rights issue with the roar.
It's well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I was led to believe that, but now I'm not so sure. So I don't know.
Okay.
So I don't know. If anyone knows, let us know. I guess.
Sorry. This is mainly for me and you, but just to rewind this, you brought up this point. We then laboured over fixing the audio problems for half an hour so you could play me the roar that you don't know why you brought up.
But when you put it like that... Okay.
But what, the truth?
But look, I'm still glad we had that, because at least we got to the bottom of what the issue was, and it's now resolved, okay?
Just Editing Lawrence coming back in here again. Lol.
Yes,
and now we don't need to worry about having that issue when we have a very special guest next week, do we? Okay?
That's very true, yeah.
Yes, so I'm glad it happened now rather than then, all right?
Can you just weigh in, mate, for a second?
Yeah.
We'll be back in half hour. All right. I'll tell you one thing I did really want to speak about before we kind of like go into all the character stuff.
Yeah. What was this movie we're doing? I've forgotten by now.
But so there's a big focus on Japan and like their
Yeah.
The Japanese people's relationship with their like government and like how they treated the Japanese people during the war and like the value of the human life that they kind of paid no heed to. Did you like all of that stuff coming in?
Is there a big focus on that?
I think later on it becomes more prevalent with like the whole like leading a citizen effort for Godzilla that focused on like.
I'd say it becomes relevant then for like a minute or so.
But then the guy, I think it's Shikishima, the guy, Shikishima. He like faces a lot of backlash for like not dying honorably as a kamikaze pilot, and like people like hate when he comes back home. For a long time, people were like, "You're a fucking coward, bro." Like
his name's Shikishima.
Yeah, Shikishima. There's the main guy. Yeah, that's his surname. That's why everyone calls him Shikishima by his surname. But his first name's like something beginning with a K, I think.
Okay. Kochi, that's it. Kochi.
He's in all my notes are Shikishima.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know who that is. All right, I only know Kochi. Okay.
All right.
I don't think it was really all throughout. Really, again, it was only really towards the end that it came up. I feel like, and it was like good when it did, I guess, but it wasn't that prevalent until then.
I see what you're saying. I like its inclusion nonetheless because it's like. It's not just it'd be very easy to be like, yes, in World War II, the Japanese people were fucking extremely hard done by. Like, they got, like, they fucking 2 nuclear bombs dropped on them. It's pretty fucking rough. And I think it'd be easy to back them as a nation. But I like that they take that one little kind of nuanced step further and say, like, no, as a people, we suffered. The Japanese government are just as complicit in being horrendous, like breaking down supply lines so that half of the Japanese deaths in World War II were due to starvation and like not having access to resources and medicine and stuff like that. Like I thought all of that stuff was really interesting.
I'll be honest with you, I don't really know if we're the people to get into this because
no, but it's in the movie.
It is, but it's also the real history isn't so black and white because like. Yes, the bomb was dropped on Japan, but like Japan are not like, oh golly, we're so squeaky clean and innocent in all of this. Like Japan, for centuries, have committed a lot of atrocities and have done a lot of horrible stuff as well. As has any empire nation, which has started to like fucking breach out and stuff. But like.
But there's the distinct difference between the people and the government here.
There is,
that
yes,
I like.
100%, yeah.
Because like regular folks at home aren't. To be honest, they're even kind of. There's elements where they're being fed bullshit that they have to break free of. Like the main character throughout this entire movie reconciles himself as like a coward, and he eventually has to come to terms with the fact that like, no, it's not cowardly to actually choose to live rather than die for no fucking reason. Like. That's the opposite of true, what you've been trying to ingrain and push propaganda into me for.
There was a moment where I thought the movie was going for, like, a redemption through death, like redemption through the whole kamikaze thing, and that got me a little worried. I was like, I don't know if we should be glorifying kamikaze, because that's
just not honorable.
Great. Yeah, that's not great, and, like, there's a lot of, like... I really have to be careful how I word all this shit because, like, there's a lot of, like, the culture of Japan is, like, there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of focus on honor and, like, and serving your country. Like, Japan quite famously has a very unhealthy work-life balance sort of thing. Like, it's seen as very normal and honorable to, like, work long hours and all that kind of stuff. And...
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like I was a little bit worried that it was gonna like sort of lean into that sort of stuff, and I was like, I don't know if this is kind of necessarily the best message, really. But it didn't though, so that's good.
Yeah, I think thankfully it does sidestep the whole like it's not even like they trade kind of the Japan's intense kind of focus on honor as a concept as well. Like they just find honor through other means. Like I think what's more honorable is like not orphaning my daughter, and
100%.
like I think it's honorable to do the right thing by the woman I love, to raise this little girl.
How
I think
cute
it's
is
more
that little
honorable
girl, by the way? Fucking hell. How cute is that little girl, by the way?
Man,
And why
honestly.
did she grow like 5 years and like 6 months as well?
It was 5 years. They
Was
they
it
kept
5
showing
years?
the dates. Yeah, so did you not, because the house, they kept upgrading the house. It was like a little kind
I
of
know they
shanty
kept upgrading
situation.
the house, yeah, but like from what I remember, it was like, 1945, this dude gets home or whatever. He meets this woman and the baby or whatever. And then it
Yeah.
was suddenly March of next year. And then the baby is like, hello, mother, can I have some more rice, please?
So with that grown man's voice.
Yes.
Mother, I need rice for sustenance.
Mother, I require sustenance, please.
No, yeah, it may be a bit wobbly on like the actual on the times, but years do pass. Like it is
Okay.
stated that a couple of years pass. Maybe that doesn't line up with how old the girl should be or whatever, but I don't care.
Broker didn't seal the deal in all those years? Outrageous, man.
No, bro wanted to, but he didn't. Look, that's something I like about it.
Bro's
He
a
can't-
coward, straight up.
No, he's
Bro,
not.
he is. For a lot of this movie, I was like, fucking come on, you coward. Like, because it is quite frustrating. Like, I think it was when he's on the boat, when he's got the job on the boat, and he's with all the guys. But I like all the boys on the boat. They're all quite cool.
Yeah, they're great boys.
But then he's on the boat, and Godzilla's back, and he's like, I'm gonna get you. And he's like, he's gonna shoot him again. But then he freezes up again. I'm like, fuck's sake, come on, not again. But then he doesn't, and he shoots it. But still.
Look, I like it because it's kind of ingrained into like his sense of self-worth. Like he wants to be with that woman and he wants to be the father of this little girl, but he keeps convincing himself that he's not good enough because he sees himself as the coward that ran away. And it's like, no,
Yes.
dude, that was smart. Shooting a fucking 20 fucking gun is not going to kill Godzilla. You were right to not shoot him.
Yeah, all right, sure, but then he did leave all those people to die. He did just watch as they all get killed, and like
Yes, but like,
and it kind of is his fault that they died because like his job was to go and shoot it. So like, yeah, sure, we don't know exactly what kind of damage that would have done and everything like that. And later we find out probably not that much, but as a direct result of him not shooting it, all those people died.
I see what you're saying, but I also think it gets muddled because, like, at the beginning, the engineer that like comes back towards the later half of the movie,
Yes.
and in the opening of the movie, he goes, "Yeah, dude, we know your plane was like fine. We know you just melted out of the battle,
Yeah.
or whatever." And he says, I'm on your side, man. I think it's pointless to die in vain for something that won't fucking do any good."
Yeah.
And then later on, he spends the entire movie fucking hating this guy from a distance because he didn't follow the order that would have got him killed for no good. I see where you're coming from, but I can see why he didn't.
Because him following that got 20 other people killed. Okay.
They can get up and move. Like I think in that instance, they were also following orders. Like, hey, wait here and be quiet. Like, no, get up and run away. You're not gonna fucking hide from this thing that is just stalking you. Like, I don't know. For me, I just think the whole movie speaks to this kind of every single individual has autonomy and orders don't matter in the grand scheme of like the value put on life. And I think that he made a choice and he survived. The engineer also made a choice and survived, and everyone else that obeyed the order died because orders are futile and they shouldn't hold the entire value of a human life inside of them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, but I don't know if that's like, because I can see issues with that message, because if then we're also having a fucking like, and I know it's kind of like a civilian-led military, but if we are having this military show off against fucking Godzilla at the end of it, and we do have a general giving us orders, then like, is that not mixed messaging?
I see what you're saying, but I also think there is an intense, like, they show a couple of times how this is different from a military effort. A military effort is how many boats can we send them bombard with guns, whereas the civilian-led effort has like, hey, we have a boat that's meant to misdirect and it's unmanned.
Yeah.
Like, no one is there. We're not sacrificing lives for this one trick. Whereas the military would have had that boat fully operational and gotten hundreds of people killed.
Yeah, but the general is still giving orders, though. And I think
but
to have a message where it's like orders are futile isn't necessarily like. Do you see how it gets a bit muddled in that?
I do. Maybe it's not communicated perfectly, or maybe I'm reading it incorrectly, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think there's a difference between, and I know this is not what you're saying, but like for me, it seems as clear as like there's a difference between ordering someone to fucking do kamikaze And there's a difference between being like, hey, this is a civilian-led effort. If you don't want to do it, that's fine.
Yeah, that's 100% the thing of the movie. That's the fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't just see it as a blanket statement of all orders are bad. Because I think to me it would have to come more down to the type of order. And like the order to needlessly kill yourself, sure, bad. All right. But the order to like, because fucking the order to, like, I don't know, to fucking live and fight for your country and shit, like, good. I just, again, I'm just, like, I can't find the right words for it, but just the type of orders is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, well, there's nuance, isn't there? Like, obviously, some orders are obviously better and more moral than others. But yeah. All right, I tell you what I did like. Do you like the night before sequence where they kind of like... It's kind of how that conversation comes about. Like, it's the main guy with the great hair. You know that guy?
The doctor? The professor?
Yeah.
Love that cunt, man. Love his professor hair, man.
Mate, to be fair, actually, before we go into this, right, you were right. Everyone on that boat, it's a proper dude's rock movie in places, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all follow at times.
Yeah.
Could have done with some more female characters, or even just some female characters with more nuance, but yeah.
Yes, that aren't like, help me.
That aren't wholly, every single female character isn't wholly in service of this one dude. Yeah.
I liked the lady that kind of had a bit of a pop at him at the start, but then became kind of... I liked her, but I thought the main lead, the main female lead, was a little bit underbaked in places.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I liked the Noriko.
Yeah, Noriko. I think
Noriko.
It was,
yeah. I liked her. It's just she didn't necessarily have much autonomy really, other than whatever.
It was a lot like even when she was like, "Hey, we're obviously like a couple, right?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No." She went, "I guess I'm off to the kitchen to clean up then." And I'm like, I feel like you could have stood your ground there. Like, you've been with this dude, raising a kid with him for like 5 years. You're not wholly in his service and debt or whatever. Like, I understand he's giving you money and helping, but like, this is quite clearly a collaborative effort, and I feel like you should speak up for yourself a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I did like that she was alive at the end, though. That was a very beautiful moment.
Yeah, I thought the whole sacrifice sequence, and it's clear how much she meant to him. There's one specific shot that I think is fucking unbelievable in this, and it's after the Godzilla essentially nuked Ginza, and Shigashima's on his knees, and he's like screaming at Godzilla in complete anguish as it pans up to Godzilla, who is looking at the mushroom cloud he created.
Yeah.
And then like all of that kind of like black substance just falls on him.
Yeah.
As he's on his knees. I was like, God, that's good stuff. Like, it's just what a way of showing like this is one man against insurmountable odds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is good. It's a very beautiful looking movie, I think.
Yeah.
Very well shot.
I love the moment where they walk off from the younger kid, and he's like, I want to fucking help with this. And he's like, no, we're leaving you the future, brother. Fucking crack on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No? Not a fan? I got chills, man. I got goosebumps. I thought that was a great moment.
No, it felt very telegraphed to me. Like, I'm kind of like,
well, this guy's coming back.
Yeah, he's going to show up somewhere, isn't he?
yeah, sure.
He's not just going to take this, man. But a lot of this felt very telegraphed. Like when the engineer Tabachi, I should stop just trying. But the engineer guy, when he's like showing him around the plane, and he's like, "Hey, pull this lever here." I'm like, oh, that's the ejector seat, isn't it?
Oh, you like plugged that before?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100. You didn't?
Not the first time, no, I didn't.
Okay. No, I did.
There was, because if you watch as well, when he flies the plane into Godzilla's mouth, you can very quick. It's like 2 frames. You can see an ejector fucking go out, and the pilot lives.
I saw it.
Yeah. But like when I saw that in the movie, I didn't catch the whole stuff before. But when I saw something eject, I went, yes, my boy.
No, that was another moment that was telegraphed for me, and like not necessarily in a bad way. Like it was I knew it was coming just because I don't know. I know movies. I guess I think it's more my issue than the movies. But like,
it is a trope. I know.
Yeah. But I don't know.
What do you think about the ending as a whole? Like him choosing to live and kind of acknowledging that cowardice is not
Well, it's
sacrificing your life for no reason kind of thing.
It's beautiful, really. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's especially beautiful with fucking like the neighbor who at the beginning like very angrily chastised him for like being a coward and like, you know, blaming him for the death of her children and everything
brutal.
like that. For her to be the one to like show up at the base or whatever and like again chastise him, but for essentially just walking off to his death at this point, for doing the exact opposite, for doing exactly what she told him to do at the beginning. Basically, she's now chastising him for that, and then giving him the telegram and stuff. That's just all very beautiful. That sort of stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
I completely agree. I thought that the 180 that the neighbor character did with like you say, how her mindset completely shifts because she at the beginning she's a very kind of bitter lady about the fact that she lost her kids.
Yeah,
and she sees that anyone that came back alive, she's like, well, what the fuck were you doing that my kids are dead and you're not? Like. I like that element.
I think
of her
it's
and
more
how
she blames him specifically because she sees the cowardice in him because he was a kamikaze pilot. His whole job was to die, you know, in glory for Japan. But here he is alive, and because of that, you know, there was the air raid, and her children are now dead. Really.
Yeah, I agree, but then I think it's a nice minor detail throughout the movie that like she watches him build a life for himself over the course of 5 years or so, and she helps out and she becomes a part of it and realizes no, it's not as black and white as that. Like people can't just fucking go off to die. Like that's not that's immoral. That's not right to be ordered to do that.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to quickly talk about the when he finds Noriko as well, is your war finally over? Beautiful ending.
Yeah, that motif come quite a few times. You know, like the war hasn't ended for me and that kind of stuff. Which is, you know, that's like this isn't the first movie to use that phrasing, and it's like it's a phrasing that has existed in terms of like fucking PTSD and that kind of stuff. But it's very beautifully used, and it's used very well effectively here, I think. And yeah,
it's kind of a theme, isn't it? That like this movie's kind of got a few tropes in it, but they use them well. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, and it all works very well. Like I say, that final scene, I cried quite a bit when I realized what was happening. Like I saw him walking up the stairs, I was like, "Oh fuck, is she alive?" And I was like, "Oh, I loved it. It was great. It was a beautiful moment, really."
Did you see she's got that black goo on her though? She's got that goo disease.
What does it mean? She's going to turn into fucking Mothra, and then she's got.
I don't know what it means, but there's another one of these coming from the same bloke.
Well, there is a post-credit scene before the credits.
There is. Yeah. So, and one at the very end of the credits, there's a couple of Godzilla footsteps in a roar as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So well, Godzilla probably not dead.
Godzilla -2.
Godzilla minus fucking hell of a lot more people if he gets out.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I do want to touch about there's two versions of this. I watched the not color version.
Oh, there we go. Fucking
it really cheesily named. I thought Godzilla -1 color. I was like, come on,
horrible.
You can do better than that.
What is all right? Talk me through this then, because
all right, I'll talk. Wait, hang on, wait, because I can already sense your tone. I'll talk you through this if you're not a wanker about
No, I probably will be. All right, because I watched this movie. All right, and to be fair, this is not exclusive to this movie. I see with pretty much everything. All right, what is the benefit? What are you getting out of removing the color from the movie? What are you getting out of, in what is my opinion, taking a step backwards in terms of the progress we've made in filmmaking?
Yeah, so I know you always say this, this is the aspect ratio argument, this is I completely get it, black and white, like we have moved on from that. It's not, there was once upon a time where it was the norm, and now it's kind of seen as this.
The reason for that is not because it was some amazing art house technical aspect that makes your movie more deeper, it was because there was no other way. It was because it was the only way to capture film. Color film doesn't exist.
And yeah, you're absolutely 100% right. And I completely can sympathise with the fact that this is nothing if not an exercise in a bit of vanity. Like this is quite clearly we released a separate version of this, and it's a bit more. Whoa! Look at we're harkening back to the original kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like and look, I wouldn't have watched this if it was my first watch. I only watched this version because I was just curious, because I'd already seen the movie and I'd seen it recently enough to like. This wasn't a big revisit for me. I remembered pretty much everything that happened. And some stuff that I did want to point out. I think it's it's not as lazy as a filter. Like they have graded it differently.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm not saying they've just like fucking put it on their
Turn the
phone.
saturation all the way down.
Yeah, to put it on their phone, just literally slapped a noir filter on it and then called it a day. You know.
Yeah, but I think whilst sometimes a little bit pointless, it is a nice exercise to pay homage to the original. Like, and that if you're interested in that kind of stuff, as people, there are super fans of Godzilla out there that have spoken about this and said like putting this in black and white. Oh my god, it feels like my childhood is being restored. Like there are people that get a lot of stuff out of this. I also think there are some benefits, right? And such as I think it fixes some wobbly CGI moments in parts because it makes some things less obvious.
Okay.
And that's just because of a loss of clarity. And I know the counter argument to that is just do the CGI better. But like when I tell you how much this movie was made for and by how many people, I think you'll understand why.
I know it's quite low, which again I don't necessarily see as a good thing, but yeah.
No, but a small passionate team rather than like 20 people 200 people all in different offices in different countries. I'll take the smaller team any day as long as everyone is paid fairly, etc, etc. So it covers some wonky CGI, but I also think there is something about making it black and white that does inherently make it a little bit more dramatic, because the movie itself, beyond the not including the Godzilla glowing blue back and the atom breath and stuff like that, I don't necessarily think the movie uses color all that strikingly. Like I wouldn't look at this movie and go like, whoa, my god, every single frame a painting kind of thing. Like I think it's just a fairly normally graded movie.
Does that mean you should remove all color entirely?
No, but I think what you gain from making it black and white then is it adds a little bit of that fucking kind of a dramatic dynamic to it that is not missing, but definitely enhanced by like I don't know, kind of stripping it back to basics. It's not. This won't be everyone's preferred way of watching it. I don't even know if it's mine. I just think it was an interesting thing that they did that I was kind of eager to check out. I think explosions look amazing because the entire screen just kind of blows out with this overly exposed white, and it really makes you feel an impact of it. But I can't say I didn't feel the impact before. So I don't know. I liked it, but it's not necessarily necessary by any stretch. Just a bit of fun.
Yeah. I guess that's just, I just don't see it as, I've never seen the point in it, because to me, it's always like, I mean, like, the joke of, like, student films is that they're always in black and white, so they seem deep, really, aren't they?
Yeah,
like,
and they can cover up the fact that they didn't light it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, like, it's just that. It's just like, oh, let's make it more deep by doing it in black and white. And, like, whenever there's any kind of movie which has, like, an air of, like, fucking Oscar buzz or critically acclaimed around it, there's always like, oh, so when are they doing the black and white version? Fucking Logan had a black and white version. Mad Max with its fucking black and chrome or whatever version.
Why would you do that to Mad Max? That's crazy.
And it just feels like a bit, to me, it just feels like a cheap trick to be like, oh, look, it's art house and it's whatever. And I just...
To be clear, I 100% agree with you. It is absolutely just an exercise in vanity and a way to release the movie and go, bit more money, please. Yeah, like, or it's an incentive to buy a Blu-ray of it or whatever. Like,
which, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Like, fucking sell your movie, absolutely. But, like, I guess my issue would be, like, if someone told me that's the definitive way to watch it. Like, that would be the issue for me. I'd be like, fuck you. I'm never watching that version, all right?
Just out of spite. Fuck you.
Absolutely. There's this, have you seen this fan edit that's coming out of Wild Blue Yonder?
Oh, what? No. Oh, this is going to annoy me. What is this?
No, it's to be honest, it actually looks quite interesting. But, like, there's I'll show you a trailer of it afterwards because it genuinely does look quite interesting. But basically, someone's done something similar to Wild Blue Yonder, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but
sometimes a bit of fun. And to be honest, I like it when someone did something fairly recently. I think it was even someone famous, but I can't remember who.
Was it Venom?
No, not Venom. Someone took Raiders of the Lost Ark and removed all of the fucking dialogue from it and just had it as a silent film with the score.
Oh, yeah.
Because they wanted to... It was like a little experiment to see like how good are Spielberg's compositions and framing and visual language, and can the plot be communicated that way? Spoiler alert, no, because it's a very layered movie.
Yeah.
But from scene to scene, it became apparent that, like, hey, you can clearly understand what's happening through this scene, even if you don't know the specifics of, like, oh, we're going to go to this time and check this out and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I can't get mad at it, because I think when people are just playing around with stuff, like, I'm an editor, I've never done anything like this, but I think it's an interesting idea, and sometimes just a fun side project for people to be like, what does this look like if I change some bits? All right, context-wise, we just watched the Wild Blue Yonder thing, just speaking about the color. Basically, aspect ratio change, black and white filter. I think for me, that's an instance where maybe doesn't necessarily work so well, because it was shot not for 4:3, so there are some shots that just don't work because they've obviously just been cropped and repurposed. And also, Wild Blue Yonder is not exactly known for its incredible CGI work, so it kind of feels like it's from a time that this wouldn't have been possible.
Is that not just what you're saying about Godzilla, though? Because with Godzilla having some not necessarily great VFX CGI, you were saying that the black and white is a benefit of that to cover over some of that a little bit.
It hides some of it, absolutely, but also Godzilla as a whole, like we spoke about earlier, design-wise, was created to look like it had the effect of years gone by old practical effects.
Yeah.
So it kind of skates around it a bit more, but when you can see David Tennant's big CGI chin just hit the floor, it doesn't necessarily work so well. But again, haven't seen it. I'd be interested to watch it. It looks quite cool.
So now you can watch it.
There you go. But yeah, I think I don't know. I always like it when people just dick around with stuff like this, and I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always just a fun little exercise, and why not? Do you know what I mean? It's just creative people having a bit of fun.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's about it, I reckon.
Yeah, I just, to sum it up, I think this it's really interesting. It's nice. It's a different flavor of Godzilla that we haven't had in a while.
Japanese.
Yeah, the Japanese flavor of it, basically. But no, it's a different note in that kind of this kind of legends, mythos, and history. And I think this overall is just it's a great success story of a movie. This had the budget of 15 million. Like that's fucking. I know that's an absurd amount of money. I'll never see that money in my life. But in terms of movie making, that's insane.
I will. I'll see it in my life.
Well. Nathan's more ambitious than I, clearly.
Yeah.
Or he's won the lottery and I don't know about it. But yeah,
It's true.
that's me
I
on
wouldn't
it.
tell anyone if I won the lottery.
What?
Just
Not
keep
even
it to
me.
myself. No.
Oh. I haven't got any little things. Do you wanna hear what the good folks have to say over on the Discord?
I'd love to. What's this, Lawrence?
This is a little segment called Another Happy Thought. We've got a Discord. It's mostly for our other podcast, but we post in there. People can have their say on the stuff that we're talking about. So if you want to have your little message read out, then join the Discord server.
Yeah.
And put up with a lot of Doctor Who if you're not interested in it.
And also, spoiler alert, next week James is coming back. So if you want to put in a message for James, do that now. Please.
No promises. I'm not reading out the weird ones. He's my boss.
Yeah.
Captain Swagatario says, I love a thick lizard who acts as an allegory for a nuclear bomb. Also, I think the atomic breath charge up is the coolest one to date, with the spine plate shifting into place and the gradual blue filling up the back. I can't really remember what it looks like in the MonsterVerse movies.
Well, it's changed over time, really. But it definitely was like slower. Like the first time it happened in Gareth Edwards Godzilla. Yeah, it was quite slow and meticulous, and there was a build up to it because it was the first time we'd seen it. Now it's just like instant kill, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think Gareth Edwards maybe was going for a more patient film.
Yeah.
Given that you see Godzilla like
4
really
times.
not a lot in that movie. Yeah.
For like fucking 5 minutes total or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's sprinting about with Kong or whatever.
As he should be.
Sage says, oh my god, what an incredible movie. As a huge Godzilla fan, I absolutely love this, especially the emotional aspects. Anyway, which kaiju do you reckon you could beat in a fight if you were kaiju height? I don't know many of the other kaijus, I'll be honest.
All of them. King Ghidorah, I kill that cunt, alright?
Is that the big butterfly?
No, that's Mothra.
Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now that the name is there.
Yes. King Ghidorah is the 3-headed dragon lizard who who had a fight with Godzilla in King of the Monsters. The best.
Oh, the
movie.
second one, right?
Yeah, the best one. Yeah.
It's so crazy that you think that.
Amazing
That's
movie.
fine.
Amazing motion picture. Truly peak cinema.
I think I could fuck Kong up if I could have his little Kong son, because I know he uses him as a weapon at some
He
point.
does use him as a weapon, yeah. Just beat the fuck out of some other kind of monkey things, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So you're locking in all of them, and I'm locking in Kong.
I'll take all of them, yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And last one, unless you want to read any out from Chaos Carney, would you have pulled the shoot?
Well, yeah, I don't want to die.
Yeah, I saw this and I feel like maybe we're wrong because Carney, I spoke with you on the Discord just recently. You know lots about Godzilla, right? Seemingly way more than me. So maybe I'm not seeing this as right. But for me, this is a question that may as well be retyped as: would you like to die or not die? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to not die.
I don't want to die. What are you on about? Fucking hell.
If I have the choice to not die or die, I'm gonna choose not die. So
I'm going to read this one out from Unholy Pancake 666, who is Quentin, Mr. Molina himself, who says, I love this movie. There's a second one directed by the same director that has been announced. Anyway, why does Godzilla hate Kochi so much? I'll tell you my theory. Godzilla is canonically a telepath, therefore he knows when Kochi is happy, and Godzilla doesn't like that one bit. Thank you.
Okay, so he's actually actively pursuing this guy.
Yeah. Which I like the idea of that. It's pretty fun.
I like the idea. Maybe remove some of the malice of just like this is just a fucked thing doing a fucked thing.
What's going on with the second one then? Do you know anything about this?
Other than it's the same director as the first and it's been greenlit, that's all I know. And to be honest, kind of all I want to know.
We set it like modern times, all right? Give Kochi a break, all right? He's won his war.
This could leave this guy alone.
His war's over, right? And say it takes like 60 years for Godzilla to heal from this or something. Yeah. And then he can come back or whatever.
I would really like to see how this director handled a modern day Japanese retelling of Godzilla.
Okay.
Like how the culture has shifted, because I kind of think with this time period you've commented on the government, you've commented on the people, you've told us kind of start to end story for a couple of soldiers. Like there's not really much rife for exploration with this set of characters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you'd do better. Well, yeah, fucking, and add to the seismic fucking power of Godzilla as well, that like, these guys all died like 10 plus years ago, and Godzilla's back and he's ready for round two.
I'll tell you what I did like. I did like it when that classic Godzilla tune kicked in. That dun 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 dun, you know, sort of thing.
I do. It's a banger needle drop whenever it comes in. But yeah,
here's a big angry boy, a big meat boy.
Yeah. Any more on the Discord or?
No, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it indeed. All right, recommendations. It's time.
Of which I have none.
No, you've got to have one because you didn't have one last week.
Didn't I?
No, you
What
didn't.
did I recommend?
I don't think you did.
I had to have recommended something.
I think you recommended not recommending stuff or something. You took a crazy cop out or something.
No way.
I can't remember exactly, but anyway. Recommendations. It's the time of the show where we get to tell you about something that we've experienced in the last week. Maybe it's something we've watched, read, listened to, or just checked out or whatever, and we'd love to share it with each other and to our lovely listeners. I will go first while Nathan figures out what he recommended last week.
On the I don't know if you've done this just to fuck me over, but on the description where you put in the recommendations, it only says Wicked, which I assume was your recommendation.
It was my recommendation. I genuinely feel like
maybe that was my recommendation too.
Maybe you just both chucked on to me.
Be honest, I mostly forget what happens once the record button has been stopped. So
that's fair. Also, I'd like to point out now, if that's what happened, you still haven't seen Wicked. So not really fair.
I was gonna say then, in my defense, I haven't seen the movie, but I also haven't seen the stage version either.
So not fair on both.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be speedy. The movie I'm recommending is called Conclave. I've bored Nathan talking about this. And I sent him a meme yesterday that he didn't find funny.
I don't care about these popes or whatever.
They're not. Well, who is the Pope? That's the question. I think it's a good examination of faith.
Probably.
No, It's a good examination in like a lapse of faith, and I do think it comments nicely on like how people that have a certainty in like the specific beliefs and intentions of God is like pretty dangerous. Like people being like, "Hey, gay marriage is wrong," and just a guy who thinks that saying that, and then saying, "And I think God has told me that." That's really dangerous. That's a horrible, dangerous power, and can often lead to like dangerous times for entire religious institutions. It's way too influential and should be stripped back. I think the movie maybe doesn't go as hard into that as it should do, but it's also kind of just a great gossipy election drama thriller that's very captivating. You've got Stanley Tucci in like priest robes walking around spilling tea on people. So ultimately it's a fun middle of the road movie, but which I had a bit of fun with. So yeah.
I just don't care, man. Like
you don't need to. That's
what
fine.
am I gonna get out of a movie about the fucking Pope?
What,
really?
I don't know. What are you going to get out of any movie? You could say that about literally any movie.
And I do. Well, most
but
of them.
you weren't necessarily. Oh, I suppose you were interested in this, but there's been other things.
I was definitely interested. It's Godzilla.
All right, but like, all right, you said the same thing about like Bullet Train. What am I going to get out of that? And then you loved it. So you don't know. Honestly, you do not know until you watch things.
Unless this movie has fucking popes fighting each other with samurai swords and guns, all right, then I don't think it's going to match the heights of Bullet Train for me.
No, but there's different heights. Trade your samurai swords for some popes gossiping.
No,
Nathan.
because it's the type of shit you like, all right, which like. You know, fair enough. All right, we all have our tastes, but that's not necessarily for me. All right, you love a bunch of dudes in a room talking boring shit. All right, but it's well shot and directed and acted and everything. That's fucking crack cocaine for you. All right,
I wouldn't describe it like that. But
I couldn't necessarily give a fuck. All right, I'm like, great, move on. Where's the monsters and the guns?
First thing I said was that you don't need to care about this. That's fine. If you don't want to see Conclave, then that's cool. What are you recommending?
Conclave.
Kong, no, Kong Skull Island Clave.
Yes. I'll watch that movie. Yeah. Anyway, I'm recommending Conclave.
Oh, no, that's not fair.
No. I am recommending.
You're really on your feet here, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'll tell you what, I recommend Folklore. Taylor Swift album. It's my favorite album of Taylor Swift's. So that's what I recommend. She was my top artist on Spotify Wrapped. So
you tied it into somewhat recently.
Yeah, so there you go. I kind of was. It's a great album, I think. So
I was about to say, by the way, thanks if we've appeared on your Spotify Wrapped, but that's the other show. This one's not appearing.
It's been we have. This has also appeared, but never in the top spot, but it's also appeared. You know?
What's funny is if it's still got legs and another happy pod, this will always be underneath another, and possibly underneath something else.
No, I've seen quite a few of them where you're like, oh, hey, saw you guys in my Spotify Wrapped. So this is pretty cool. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And then I look at it. You still got legs number 1, then like 3 other podcasts. And then another happy pod at number 5. And I'm like, oh, fair. You know, like, this is very much the pick and choose, the less successful older brother have still got legs, as we like to say. But we love it nonetheless, all right?
We do. Look, we're happy to just be in the conversation.
We are.
Right?
Yes.
But yeah, Still Got Legs is gunning for the top spot, and we'll work to keep improving that.
But thank you to anyone who has said those. It's very kind, and I genuinely do love seeing them. It genuinely brings a big smile on my face. Anyone's like, hey, look, you've been in my raps, because that's just something I never thought would happen with fucking anything I made. So
yeah.
It's nice
whatever podcast is more prevalent for you, it's just it's still us two, and it's nice to see either way.
Either way, we win. So.
Yes. So keep streaming.
Yes. No, it is very nice. It's just nice to see something you made and something you have a lot of love and passion for also be like enjoyed by people. So
yeah, people receive stuff that you made well. So that's lovely. Yeah, that's very nice lovely. To see.
Anyway, fuck off, Lawrence.
Yeah, fuck off me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone. If you've enjoyed the show, then please feel free to give us a 5-star review. That'd be cool. You can also follow us on Twitter at Another Happy Pod, and you can suggest a topic for us to check out. And be sure to join us next week, because we are going to be doing this.
All right, I'll put this as simply as I can. Everybody on Earth is dead in a year.
But anyway, James is coming back.
We're watching that, and James is back, yeah.
We're watching whatever that was, and James is back. So there we go.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie or heard of that movie before, so I'm just going to choose a clip. It might not be like the clip from the movie. I don't know.
I don't think there is the clip from the movie, but I've seen the movie like over 20 years ago and have.
Is it good?
I couldn't tell you. I have little to zero memory of it, so I basically just haven't seen it really. You know.
Fair enough. If you do feel so inclined, we have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes if you want to help us out with the running of both the shows that we do.
Yeah, call me off guard there. Yeah, and big shout, big thank you to Ari Masters who donated on our Ko-Fi this week. Probably mention more about it on the other pod, but yeah, thank you. Big shout out. You're amazing, and we love you.
Yeah. Oh god, it's nice when people support things.
It's nice when people are nice, you know.
Yeah.
And to that end, fuck you, Lawrence.
Oh, why is it always me? It's not fair.
I don't know.
There is zero pressure to do so. Everyone's always welcome to enjoy the episodes of the shows for free. If you do want to help us out, the most useful thing you can do is share the shows with a friend.
Tell a friend, tell your mum, tell your dad. Tell them I said hi.
Burn on you. Nathan said your only friends are your mum and your dad.
No, I said tell a friend, tell your mum, tell your dad. I didn't say those are your only friends.
Well, I said that then.
Yeah, I think you're bringing that to the table, not me.
You got no mates, listeners. Speaking of both the shows that we do, we can skip this. We've just spoke about Still Got Legs a little bit.
Yeah, well, but tune in anyway. It's a good time. Oh, and check out our Phase 6 slate or whatever that's coming up.
Yeah, it's on all the social accounts. You can go have a look. Thank you for listening. We will see you next Friday at 10 a.m. and we'll actually be there on Friday at 10 a.m. this time.
Well, maybe.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, we're recording on Monday, so yeah, we probably will be.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. I'd have a very busy week if that
would be worrying if not. Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyway,
goodbye,
everyone. Oh, fuck.
My name is Jeff.